Skeppy's events. One of the biggest trends on YouTube. Whether you're competing for the grand prize or watching from the sidelines, you've probably heard of these crazy cash competitions. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if you've watched one of these events in the last 24 hours. And pretty much everyone who has watched these videos has dreamed of winning one of these competitions and taking home that sweet cash prize. However, winning these competitions has always been a struggle. Starting with the fact it's already hard enough simply to get in because of the insane queue times and inability to predict when the events will start. Even if you manage to get in, you are now competing with 100+ people for the grand prize. All things added up, the odds of getting in and winning are extremely minuscule. However, everything changed when Skeppy made a whole new server for queuing into his events. All events are now scheduled, and you can choose which event you want to queue for. Not to mention, you can now buy a priority pass from the store to bypass the queue and practically guarantee yourself into an event. All things considered, this change of servers was a smart move, right? But what if I told you it wasn't? What if I told you that this was the worst possible thing he could have done? You may have been following with me up until this point and be thinking right now, how could this possibly be the worst thing Skeppy could have done? But I'm not lying to you. The reasoning behind this is quite simple. Now, I've joined a couple of Skeppy's events in the past, and I've been able to get in quite easily by leaving my computer running for long periods of time in the queue. So naturally, with the new server, I thought I could just do the same. I joined a queue for an event scheduled 3 days in advance. As the day approached, I was roughly number 165 in the queue for an event that held 150 people. I wasn't worried. Surely there'd be like 15 AFKs that would get kicked from the event, and then I'd be able to get in. I went to sleep that night, happy, knowing when I woke up in the morning, I would be entered in for a chance to win $1,000. The next morning, I woke up excitedly and ran to my monitor to check in on my account and make sure that I hadn't been disconnected or timed out. As I sat down in my chair and slowly turned my eyes to the monitor, my jaw dropped in disbelief. I looked down at my queue position, and overnight, I had gone from number 165 to over 250. I couldn't believe it. The event was starting soon, and there was no possible way I was getting in. I realized that the people who had bought the priority pass had passed me and filled up the queue. But what was so unbelievable was that this was the first event, and already donators had filled the queues with their priority passes. It was at the point that some donators weren't even getting into the events anymore. You're probably wondering, how much are these priority passes anyway? Why don't you just buy one and support Skeppy? After all, he's giving away $1,000 every single event. It's only fair. Well, to answer this question, first you need to understand the prices of the priority passes and how they work. There are 4 tiers of priority passes, starting at the lowest bronze to silver, gold, and the highest being diamond. Basically, bronze players jump ahead of all non-ranked players. Silver jumps ahead of all bronze players, and gold jumps ahead of all silver players, and finally diamond jumps ahead of all gold players in the queue. The price for a bronze priority pass is $10, silver pass is $20, gold $30, and diamond pass is $50. Now you might still be thinking, $10 to skip ahead of all the non-ranked players? That's a steal. However, what I failed to mention is that it's $10 a month. Each priority pass is paid monthly. Not to mention, they are only for specific event servers. There are 5 event servers, and each one requires its own unique pass. So if you want a bronze pass for all 5 event servers, that's $50 a month. Assuming there is 1 event per day, that means you pay $10 a month for 5 to 6 chances at $1,000. Now that doesn't seem too bad until everyone buys a bronze pass, which is already happening as I'm speaking. Now you can't even get into the event after you've donated. This will then drive people to get silver passes to pass the bronze people, and once again, the same problem will occur. Until eventually, the only people able to get into the events are the diamond pass holders who can afford to pay $50 a month, $600 a year, not even including tax, to play in Skeppy's events. Have I not changed your mind yet? Well, let's dive even deeper. The whole premise of Skeppy's YouTube channel is that he's spontaneous, crazy, and unorganized. This is what makes his videos so entertaining. He's able to keep the content fresh and enjoyable. Now, this is great when it comes to entertaining an audience, but combine that with customers who are now paying $600 a year to partake in his events, and you've got quite a problem. Half of his events have some element of random chance. Like this one.
To go onto one color fully, so we only go if he goes on a one color fully.
Okay,
come on.
And some of his videos are 100% random chance, such as his 50 corners video. At this point, you're practically gambling. No, you are gambling $600 for a very small chance at a prize because there is no skill involved. This doesn't help his case when you take into mind that a lot of his subscribers are just kids. Finally, the worst part about this whole thing is that his server doesn't even have a stable connection. In fact, it's not uncommon for someone to time out and disconnect from one of the events they paid to get into and be effectively scammed because there is no support team to reach out to. Okay, so while I was editing this video, I hopped on to pvplands.net to check on the server and see if anything had changed. And guys, if you thought things couldn't get any worse, there are now 9 event servers. Now, because you can only buy a priority pass for one event server at a time, this means that everyone who bought a priority pass for an event server when there was only 5 just got completely scammed. Let me explain. So, my good friend, who will not be named, bought 5 silver priority passes for all 5 event servers 1 week ago. By doing this, he was able to play in every event for the rest of this month, or so he thought. Now the amount of event servers has doubled, meaning if he still wants to play in every single event this month, he needs to spend $80 more, after already spending $100. Keep in mind that the number of events has not changed. There are still around 30 events each month. The only thing that's changed is that they are double the price to get in, but after people have already paid. It is no longer hypothetical. People are literally being scammed. I decided to jump into Skeppy's Events Discord server and talk to a couple people to see if anyone else was realizing what was going on.
It's not really.
What? How is that not a scam? So you're telling me if I bought 5 silver passes for $100...
This is not a scheme.
It is a scam, but it's not, like, totally.
What?
Okay, it is, but it would be like a 100% scam if, like, you also lost your things because everything's reset, blah, 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 blah. You can pay much better.
That's like me stabbing you and saying it's okay because you didn't die.
Okay, that's fair. I guess you're right.
Yeah, I mean they still got scammed. And if you that's 4 more event servers out of how many were there before? 5? That's almost double. So the amount of events they're getting into is almost cut in half now. Tell me that's not a little bit crazy. I don't know.
Revolt.
It seems that people were starting to wake up. They were starting to realize that maybe something a little fishy was going on here. So the question is, why is no one talking about this? Skeppy's event server is rapidly reaching the point where players are going to be spending $50 a month to join an event that is scamming people out of their money. So what's the solution? Is Skeppy's event server doomed to fail? Or is there still hope? Leave your ideas in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say.